Well, that was a very important win today, Brad.
Yeah, it was important. Yeah, but I've said repeatedly that we're not living in a vacuum. We're aware of the importance in terms of ladder positions, but the true test for professionals in any sport is to be able to focus on what's in front of you and being able to follow a system and process to achieve the outcome. And while that sounds a bit boring, we'll let everyone else focus on prognostications and all those sorts of things, and we'll just focus on what we need to do. Because the reality is, if we don't play really good footy against good teams, none of it matters anyway. You get found out when it really matters. So our focus has been on that, and we had a really disappointing game last week, and we were really disappointed in most aspects of our game. And it was probably the one game this year where we thought it was just a really bad day for us in all areas. Sorry, we've had games that we've lost, but we've fought pretty hard, and we were just beaten by a better team on the day. And Collingwood was certainly better than us last week, but we didn't hold up our end of the bargain. So we certainly asked for a response today, and we got it.
Well, today was almost the opposite. What part about today's game made you happiest?
Look, probably small things add up to a big result. Our contest work was much better. Our defence was much better. West Coast are a very good defensive team. They're always hard to score against. And while McGovern and Hearn probably had an influence at times, we were able to influence up the other end with Majak going back, with Mason Wood coming back into the side up forward. So, I thought pretty much all aspects that were poor last week were pretty good this week. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for.
Were you frustrated earlier when you had, I think it was 1 point 13 inside 50s to 2, and there was only 4 points the difference? Was that?
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, you'd like to score every time you go inside 50, but we set the game up to play a certain way, and we have a system down here that's variable, and we can change it at the drop of a hat, and depending on conditions, depending on how the game's going, and we're able to change some things throughout the course of the game. But yeah, I mean, you'd like to score more often, but the domination through the midfield really set things up for us for the rest of the game as well.
Sean Higgins got a lot of attention from Mark Hutchings. Was it particularly pleasing then that the other guys managed to really get on top? Yeah,
and Higo has done it all year. He chimes in, kicks goals, and plays a role that enables others to get involved. And Cunnington's been just a super player for a long time. Underrated, but I don't think there are too many better players in the competition than him at what he does. And Paul Ahern was just another level today. So he's really continues to go from strength to strength, and it's really encouraging for us to think what he can do on the back of some continued training and some big pre-seasons, because he just Cunnington and Ahern, and Anderson was off for 20 minutes, still had a really big impact on the game. So it certainly makes our job easier when the midfield is dominating like that.
Did you expect that Ahern could be so effective so quickly into his AFL career?
I think Cameron Joyce did, but I was sort of really conscious that he'd come off 2 knee reconstructions. So who in the history of the game has been able to have 2 knee reconstructions before he's ever played a game of AFL footy and then come in and have an impact like that? So, yeah, I certainly tried to take the pressure off him. We always had a goal to try and get him into the side in the second half of the year. And to be honest, we were thinking there'll be an opportunity for him in the midfield because we're trying to build that part of our team. But we thought if he showed glimpses, we'd be happy. But he's certainly exceeded those expectations.
What's the latest on Ben Jacobs?
It's a hard one because he actually feels pretty good, but it's been and because look, if he was really struggling, we would have just stopped him from all training a long time ago. But because he's actually been pretty good but not quite right, we've kept him bubbling away in terms of doing a little bit of training and a little bit of work. But after we went through that cycle 3 or 4 times, we just made the decision that total rest is what he needs until he's completely symptom-free, and then we'll build him back up. So we're in the process of that at the moment. He already feels better on the back of a week's rest. So we're hopeful he's not too far away. But again, it's it's a very, very difficult one to put a time frame on, because the reality is he'll be right when he's right. When that is, we don't know.
So Jed Anderson was also assessed for concussion today, I gather?
Yeah, again, it wasn't an incident where he came off and thought, I just copped a knock. He just, again, he sort of felt like, because he's so hard in the contest, he couldn't work out which one it was, but he just came off feeling a little bit fuzzy, but pretty much as soon as the test started, he felt fine. But the rules are we've got to give him the 20 minutes, and that's for a very good reason, so that you can make a really thorough assessment without the pressure of trying to get the player back on. So he was ready to go for a long period, so it was hard for him to sit on the bench and wait, but I'm glad we got him back because he was pretty influential.
Jared Waite is how far away?
Yeah, he trained really well this week, full training. He was unrestricted, so he'll do that again this week, and then we have to make a call as to when he's right to play. But he's been symptom-free for a fair while now, and should be. His return will be imminent. Whether it's this week or next week, I'm not sure, but it's sort of, we're thinking those couple of weeks.
It could be this week.
Could be. Yeah, it could be, but it could have been this week too. Yeah. But we just chose to, it's been a very deliberate long-term focus, because we need to get that right, and at this stage of the year, rushing him back early is just a huge mistake. So he's certainly ready to go. It's just a matter of when we pull the trigger.
You mentioned the gravity of this win before. Do you speak to your players at all? Or did you speak to your players at all before about making the top 8 before the match, or is that something that's completely off limits?
No, we don't. But I don't specifically raise it. Look, and it's an option. You can tell the players, but they're not silly. They've done all the calculations. They know exactly the state of the season. My job is to get them in the right frame of mind to focus on what we know is important. It's poor coaching to say, boys, we need to win today.
You talk about the process when you play here being variable. When the Eagles were able to shut down on Brownie and you still found a way to score, was that part of plan A or was that plan B?
Oh, no, plan A is go to Brownie. It's been a pretty good plan for us. But what we're trying to factor in is the opposition have got a choice to make. Do they double team him? And our challenge has been to try and make sure that we've got other options, so that if they do that, then they're vulnerable in other parts of their defence. So that's been a bit of a work in progress, and today I thought we did it pretty well.
I think 8 of your 12 goals came in red time. Does that say anything to you?
Just that we've worked hard on our fitness, and we've got confidence that we can run games out well. I'm really pleased with the job our sports science team have done, given while we have some experienced players, we're an inexperienced list. So at this stage of the season, to have our players in this sort of nick is really impressive.
And the record in Tassie now at this venue is 14-4, and you won your last 5 here. You're pretty glad that your club made the move?
Yeah,
whatever it was?
Yeah, and it really was a club decision. I think that when we first spoke about it, it was always an opportunity for us to come down here. But the reality of trying to build a fortress and build a home ground advantage is to really embrace the community of Hobart and to give them access to top-level AFL footy that they've been starved of for so long. So, the players love coming down here. We always feel great support, and clearly the results speak for themselves in terms of the home ground advantage. But the reception we get down here when we come down is fantastic, and the people of Hobart deserve AFL footy, and we've been rapt that they've embraced us in taking that opportunity and coming and watching us play.
Would you like to play more games here, or is 3 about right?
Oh, I think there's always a discussion to have more. Yeah, that's not necessarily a decision for me to make. It's certainly not a decision for me to make. I'll play where fixtured, but in terms of, we always try to take a whole club approach, and that the club will make the decisions that are best for the long-term future of the club. But if they come to me and say, "Do you enjoy playing in Hobart?" The answer is a resounding yes.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Brad. Thank you.